Hey guys, today I will be taking a look at the latest approval numbers for President Trump. As you can see, it's not looking good at all for them, especially for a president that is just 8 days away from leaving office. I mean, he's 8 days away from no longer being the president of the United States. And I mean, for every single president, when you leave office, your approval rating typically goes up by quite a bit, but the exact opposite is happening for Donald Trump, and it's pretty understandable. It is a complete result of the riots that occurred on the 6th. So before we get started, make sure you join my Discord server if you have not, the link to which is at the very top of the description below. I also have channel memberships you guys can check out for 99 cents a month. Just click on that blue join button down below. So taking a look at the approval numbers for Donald Trump, he currently has a 54.7% disapproval rating to a 40.7% approval rating. Now, this is okay for the president. I mean, he was at a higher point right before the election. He actually did quite well right before the election. He's up at 45%, and his disapproval was at 52.3%. Now, that was pretty much his average. He's been sitting around the very low 40s and the mid 50s in terms of his approval and disapproval numbers. It has been better than his numbers that he experienced in the first year of his presidency, but I expect these numbers to go under 30%. Donald Trump might, for the first time since, I believe right there, January 2019, 2 years after he took office, Donald Trump will go under 30% in terms of his approval. And if you want to take a look at the latest polls, I mean, a lot of polls have been conducted after this. So you see, it did occur on the 6th of January. So you have that first morning consult poll. That was the first poll released after those riots at the Capitol, and as you can see, from the 6th to the 7th of January, and then the numbers being 38 approved to 60 disapprove. For Marist College, this was just on the 7th, one day later, 38.58. Morning Consult did another one, 38.57. Rasmussen Reports actually got 48.51. They do tend to greatly overestimate Republicans in terms of their samples, so I would just ignore that. But if you take a look at the Quinnipiac University poll, 33.60. Morning Consult released two more, 36.60 and then 34.63. So these poll numbers, they are terrible for the president. And I mean, if you asked me this a week ago, asking me whether or not Donald Trump will be the worst president in history, because, you know, historians will be deciding where to place Donald Trump. And I think that if you asked me a week ago, I would say definitely not last. I wouldn't expect him to be too high. I would say somewhere in the 30s. There have been 44 presidents because Cleveland served twice. But now, I mean, if you ask me, I think Donald Trump has a very good shot at placing last because of the insurrection that he caused, just a little bit less than a week ago. So Donald Trump, he is not leaving office on a high note, and he really has not presented any sort of unifying message. He's going to go like this, and I think that his legacy is not going to be a good one. It'll be good for a very small percentage of Republicans, but for the general public, he is not going to be seen as a good president, and we'll see how Joe Biden does. I think his approval rating definitely at the beginning of his presidency is going to be over 50%. He's not going to be like Donald Trump, starting off at a 45.5% approval rating, and that being the highest approval rating he has ever had. So right after, January 23rd, 2017, that was the first poll taken, 45.5%. There has never been a single moment in time during his presidency that Donald Trump has been more popular than when he took office. Now, if we were to compare this to presidents of the past, I do want to compare President Trump's numbers to Obama, Bush, Clinton as well. So if you were to compare Barack Obama and Donald Trump, you'll see that Barack Obama's approval rating has basically been higher than Donald Trump's throughout Trump's entire presidency. Let me reset this for 1 second here. So I want to take a look at the full 8-year graph, I would say. So this shows this a little bit better here. But what you see with these numbers is that you see that Donald Trump is that orange line, and if we go to net approval, so you'll see he's that orange one, and then the former presidents are in gray. So Barack Obama, has been more popular than Donald Trump, no matter when it was during his first 4 years. He did go under a little bit in his second term, but you see that in the final days of Obama's campaign, basically throughout the entire final year of the Obama administration, his approval ratings went up the entire way through. He ended up at plus 14.3 net, and then when he started, of course, 40.2%, went over 50 at one point, so he didn't do that well compared to some other presidents, but I think his numbers were okay when he left office. Donald Trump's, really, it's just been stuck in the 40s at -10 net approval for its entire administration. For George W. Bush, you see a big boost, plus 77, plus 80.5. That was right after 9/11, and then, his presidency basically fell apart, but you still saw that Bush did gain in terms of his approval in his final year, something Donald Trump is not going to be seeing. For Bill Clinton, always a popular president, even during impeachment. He was pretty popular among the public, and he ended up at plus 30, which is pretty good, better than he started actually, or not better, but just a little bit lower. But I think Clinton, he had a very successful presidency. For George H.W. Bush, he went up a lot in his third year. He did lose re-election to Bill Clinton, but he left off as a popular president. Reagan, same thing there. Jimmy Carter, not so much, because his presidency was just a little bit depressing, to be honest. He did a lot of things wrong. Even Ford, you see a little bit of an increase when he left office. Not for Nixon, though. But basically, you see that Donald Trump is leaving office, in a pretty low note. He is now more unpopular than he has been, for the last couple of years. I know he will be going under 30 or under 40%. His approval rating will be back in the 30s, and that is not good for Donald Trump if he wants to have any sort of positive legacy. Now, the impeachment that is going to occur, I do believe that impeachment is going to occur. As of right now, 52% of Americans support impeachment or support removing Trump from office, so impeachment and then removing him as well by the Senate. 42% oppose it, so this is basically just Democrats supporting it and Republicans opposing it. There are, of course, some who go the other way, but this is much higher than the 47-48 during Trump's first impeachment, so 47% in favor to 48% not in favor of Donald Trump's impeachment the first time around in early 2020. Early 2020, it was less than a year ago. Literally a year ago, Donald Trump was, the impeachment hearing by the Senate, or the Senate hearing was taking place just a year ago from now. So Donald Trump impeached once again, and this time because of the riots and because of what people have seen, the videos that have come out about it, I think that really has increased his support. I think he'll get impeached, definitely. Whether or not, the Senate votes to acquit him, even if it's after, I think he's going to get acquitted again. They're not going to rule him as guilty. They're not going to remove him from office, even if it's afterwards. But the Senate is probably going to vote in favor of the president, even though it's going to be a majority that votes against him. But the Republican base in the Senate is still going to vote in favor of their Republican president. If you were to take a look at this Quinnipiac poll, you will see that 56% say Trump is responsible, while 42% say he's not responsible for the storming of the U.S. Capitol. So that is a pretty slim majority, and then that 3360 approval rating. Now, I do also want to take a look at how this affects 2024. I think that Donald Trump's chances of running and winning, have decreased by a lot because of what has occurred. As you can see, Trump's chances of filing for president before 2021, it was at 73 cents a share on December 1st, and then a month after his election loss, 71. It's been hovering in the 70s. It has gone down a little bit, but literally the 5th of January to the 6th, down to 46, up a little bit, and it's been decreasing even more. He has a 31-cent share right now in terms of him filing. For Mike Pence, it has increased by quite a bit in terms of his betting odds. It stayed around 25 almost reaching 30, but now he is at 33 and then 32 as of right now. If we were to take a look at the betting odds for Kamala Harris announcing a run, you see her chances have increased a little bit in the last couple of days. However, it did peak on the 5th of January at a 42-cent share, but it's been decreasing by a lot in the last couple of days, or the last couple of weeks actually, and then recently it's been increasing by a little bit, but really this does not really matter at all. But I think that Kamala Harris's chances and Mike Pence are both higher, and I think that's rightfully so. I think that really a Harris v. Pence scenario is not too unlikely. So we do have some polls. The first one is a little bit older. It was conducted after the 2020 general election, but before the riots had occurred. So it's right here. This is for the Republicans. This is basically Trump without any of his family members, and then a lot of those Republicans that are currently favored to run. Trump, 53 among Republicans. This is after he lost the election. Keep in mind, Mike Pence, 9, Cruz, Haley, Mitt Romney, 4, John Kasich, 3, and then 2 and 1s down to the bottom. Now, this is if you were to remove Donald Trump from this list. You see a completely different list. You have Trump's children now, so Mike Pence is still at the top at 20, Donald Trump Jr. 20, Ted Cruz 7, Nikki Haley 6, and then Mitt Romney at 5, followed by Ivanka Trump at 4%. Now, for the Democratic Party, you have Kamala Harris 29, Michelle Obama 23, Buttigieg 6, AOC also at 6, and then Andrew Cuomo at 5, and then you have the 2s and the 1s. Now, Michelle Obama, she's not going to run. She is not going to run for president. And I mean, honestly, it sounds like a good idea. Everybody likes Michelle Obama, or a lot of people do, but if you really think about her running, is it really that good of an idea anymore? And you still have a lot of Republicans and Democrats undecided. As you can see, 23% of Democrats are currently undecided. So Michelle Obama, she's not going to be the Democratic nominee for president. She's not going to run for it. She has said it so many times. But Kamala Harris, I think, depending on how the Biden administration goes for her, has a very, very high chance of running for president in 2024 and breaking that highest glass ceiling. So for a newer poll, this is a more recent poll. This is just for the Republican nomination. As you can see, released, 9 hours ago. You see, if the election were held today, would you rather vote for? So Donald Trump or someone other than Donald Trump. This is among Republicans only. So only Republicans, I believe, that voted for Donald Trump. You have Donald Trump at 65%. 35% for someone other than Donald Trump. So yes, this is Trump voters, and 65 to 35. It's all right, but he's lost a third of his voters, which I do not think is good. Now, if Donald Trump did not run, so this includes Trump's children, but does not include the president himself, Mike Pence, 34. So this is afterwards. Mike Pence at 34, Ted Cruz 14, and this is a huge increase from his numbers before. As you can see, he was just at 7 there, but it's very early. People are still making up their minds, and the different people that have been surveyed here. You have Donald Trump Jr. 7, Nikki Haley 7. I really don't see Trump Jr., Ivanka, or Eric becoming the Republican nominees. Mitt Romney at 5, Marco Rubio at 4. So honestly, I don't think Ted Cruz is going to be the Republican nominee. there's a poll where 78% of the public do not trust Ted Cruz, and I think that Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, made a mistake with supporting President Trump, going against all of their Republican colleagues. I think that they may get the Trump base, but the Trump base is not enough to win the presidency. Now, for the 2022 election, the Democrats' chances have increased by quite a bit over the last couple of days. They were down at 30s, 34 at one point. So after the 2020 election, Democrats underperformed, so their chances went down by quite a bit. And then I also want to take a look at Donald Trump's approval rating on Real Clear Politics. You see, it went down by a lot here. There's no better way to put it. His popularity is terrible right now. Looking at that. It went from 44.2 disapprove plus 9 I mean, just on the 2nd of January, and then now 14.4 on the 10th of January. So Donald Trump's approval rating, terrible, terrible numbers for him. You can even see it here, negative 27, 19, 12, 18, 12. And before this, he even tied at one point. But yeah, his numbers are just getting worse and worse. I definitely expect him to go under the 40%, low 30s. I think that we might see him even at that point towards the end of his presidency. And then for Joe Biden's favorability, I mean, favorability is different from approval because approval is what you do in office. That's why Joe Biden does not have a approval rating. He only has a favorability rating as of right now, and really hasn't changed too much because you barely see any polls. He was at plus 20 at one point in terms of his favorability, according to Fox News, 59-39. So I don't know if this graph is actually that updated, but I'll see. But basically, Biden right now, much, much more favorable than Donald Trump. I mean, you can take a look at these same polls. You have that Fox News poll, 45 find Trump favorable, 52 find him unfavorable. For Joe Biden, for that Fox News poll, 59 find Joe Biden favorable, while 39 find him unfavorable. Now for Politico, at the very top there, 54 favorable, 42 unfavorable. For Donald Trump, 60 unfavorable to 38 favorable. So Joe Biden, much, much more popular than Donald Trump at this point in time. I think that Joe Biden will come in pretty strong, and he said that he wants to spend half a day on impeachment in the Senate and then half a day on his agenda, I believe he said, and expects that. So we'll see how that happens. But right now, Donald Trump's popularity is falling due to, what has basically occurred at the Capitol on the 6th, and I think that it's going to hurt his legacy, and it's going to hurt his political future if he even has one at this point in time. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Join my Discord server if you have not, the link to which is at the very top of the description below. I also have channel memberships, 99 cents a month. Click on that blue join button if you are interested. And so subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Comment down below where you would rate Donald Trump out of the 44 presidents. So where would you put Donald Trump if you were to rank him? So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.